Hello, and welcome to the fourth episode of Security by Behemoth. This topic is an introductory topic based upon IT buzzwords used in TV commercials, internet ads, and in IT trade publications in an effort to sound flashy and trendy. The topic is, what is the cloud? By definition, the cloud is the use of computing resources, both hardware and software, or either of the two, delivered as a service over a network and in today's times, most likely over the internet. Why is this a big deal and why is the IT industry up in arms about this? It is simple. It is a cost-cutting measure. For some organizations that once had robust data centers of 200 or more servers, they can now use 10 to 20 servers and a storage area network, or nothing more than an internet connection and a contract. There are two ways that this can be accomplished. You can virtualize, which would require 10 to 20 servers and a storage area network, as well as a product such as VMware, or a software as a service such as Google Apps or Microsoft Office 365, which only requires a web browser, an internet connection, and a contract. For the common user, an example of the cloud is your email. If you use Google's Gmail, like I do, you can drop files into the Google Drive or email them to yourself and access them anywhere you have an internet connection. It could be your phone, the public library, your home computer, or whatever. Additionally, Apple is starting to do this, as is Barnes & Noble and Amazon. With regards to this, you don't have to store the information on your reader. They're actually stored on Amazon or Barnes & Noble's website, and the reader actually downloads them as you read them. And you could also go and read them from a computer or your smartphone or tablet or whatnot. Additionally, Google and Microsoft are becoming the forefront leaders in cloud-based software as a service, or SaaS, with both S's being capitalized. These cater to the regulatory requirements set forth for business, education, or government. Google has Google Apps for education, business, or government. Microsoft has Microsoft Office 365. In both situations, the only thing that is required, again, would be the web browser and the internet connection. From a management perspective, this allows easier licensing of the product. The cost for these solutions are $50 or $60 per user per month. So that cuts some cost, and it allows you to have a dynamic amount of licenses as opposed to having 5,000 licenses when you only have 4,000 people in your organization. There's nothing extra to install on users' machines aside from the occasional snap-in, such as ChromeView, which confuses Microsoft's Internet Explorer into believing it is Chrome. And from the user perspective, they can access their email or files from any place at any time, home or office, unless explicitly prohibited by the policy. In some cases, you can only access your files from the office, and they can conduct their business as usual. This reduces costs again in the fact that fewer computers are required, because not every employee is a knowledge worker that requires a computer all the time. This allows for more kiosks to be set up, and that cuts cost in itself. Other examples include Dropbox, or as I mentioned previously, Google Drive, that allow users to share files easily across the internet. You drop the file in, and then you send the link, and whoever has the link can access it. There's little to no effort involved, and this really is a double-edged sword, because if you don't think about how you do it and you put everything in the public folder, anyone can access it. Speaking of the cloud as a whole, it is very easy to conduct disaster recovery and business continuity planning and actually execute the plans. They are taken care of fairly quickly. the questions that any astute security professional should ask would be along the lines of, where is my data being stored? How often do they back it up? Who has access? Is the building secure? Do they really encrypt my files? These are just starter questions. This is not even grazing the surface. Can you connect using HTTP vice HTTPS? If this is the case, then someone could connect from a coffee shop while Johnny B. Hackerbad is hanging out using a packet sniffer such as Wireshark, pulling everything out of it, including passwords, usernames, the files themselves, and they can essentially get the keys to the kingdom. In addition to an attack known as session hijacking, which allows them to steal the cookie, which would allow access, or to actually get your session ID and input that into their browser and take over the session without your knowledge, copying everything you put in. Other questions that may be worth asking would be, are there any browser limitations or requirements, such as, can this run on Firefox, Chrome, and Internet Explorer, or is this limited to a specific browser? How do you handle your cookies? Do you encrypt them? What is the lifespan of a cookie? Do they have an expiration date? The list goes on and on. It's almost as if it's the song that never ends. In implementing this, organizations should go over their contracts with a very fine-toothed comb to ensure that their data is secure, and the commercial and just to keep in mind that commercial clouds such as Google, Microsoft, Amazon, etc., they don't ensure this from an unpaid user perspective. It is in the user agreement that everyone signs when they get a Google account or a Hotmail account or whatever. The only true way to actually have a secure cloud is to have a private cloud. But the question remains, at what cost and what effort, which again translates to cost. Organizations may benefit from having reciprocal agreements with other organizations, but this actually introduces a risk in itself, so it's something that must be researched and thought out hard. In my professional opinion, I believe that it is time that management veers away from going with solutions because they are fancy buzzwords, and they actually do research or hire people who are competent to do unbiased research. So that's it for this week. If you have any questions, email me at behemoth.security@gmail.com, B3H3M0TH, or find me on Facebook at facebook.com/behemoth, B3H3M0TH. Again, I would like to give a shout out to ShallowPoint for providing the intro and outro music. Self-inflicted, they are currently working on the music video for it. You can find them on YouTube under ShallowPoint Official, Facebook, and Google Sites at sites.google.com/site/theofficialShallowPoint. And until next time, stay secure.